A road trip can be compared to a person's journey through life. A vehicle, though a machine, has a personality of its own. The vehicle broke down at 3 different locations during the drive and without any warning. One was a pretty serious issue, but the machine could get back to functioning with some help of fixing. It is similar in my case, but the only difference being that I had to wait for 2.5 years to get fixed. There were minor signs and symptoms with my health, but I procrastinated addressing the problem, and eventually I had to face the brunt of it all and pay a huge price.
He was a very loving, affectionate child, but more attached to the father, always. Like, he was always traveling, but every day he'll come morning. When is daddy coming? He'll come in August. Means, oh, now what is this? What is this month like? You say this is June. Means, oh, today is June. Then tomorrow is July. Then the day after that is coming. That was his calculation.
Supposedly at the age of 3, I had ventured on stage by mistake. So that was the first time my entry on stage ever happened. And I guess that is when the performer and dancer in me was born. And I've been dancing ever since. I have memories of my dad cycling all over the place with my mom, sister and I on one cycle. From there we got a Bajaj Chetak scooter, and then when the first television came home, it was another big milestone in our lives.
Then we were not very sure because he's very active and very agile person. It was a great shock for me, especially. She was very brave, and it was very painful. It was. Then we came to terms. Then he went for 2.5 years dialysis. Then we searched for a donor, but we couldn't find anyone from our relatives. By God's grace, we got cadaver donor.
He used to get really choked, suffocated, breathlessness, so much of it. And usually kidney patients go for 2 dialysis a week. He was going almost alternate days.
He struggled a lot, in fact. That 2.5 years was very painful. It was on the whole.
Vehicles don't eat it because of the guard section. We get it checked once it's up and down.
Those 2.5 years of dealing with chronic kidney disease made me realize that I am meant to do something more. My philosophy behind the dance school is to spread the joys of dancing. When I was sick, I knew I had to get out of it quickly enough and that there was some unfinished business. Call me foolish or call me naive, but consciously or subconsciously, my body and mind made me oblivious to the trauma that I was going through. In hindsight, I think the universe was telling me to slow down. Deep down, my gut told me I wasn't going to succumb to it. Not for one fleeting moment did I think I would lose this battle. And within me, everything was screaming out that I had to fight this.
Then one fine night, Manipal Hospital called us and said that there is a
No,
cadaver
there
kidney.
was like 6 waiting on the list.
6 people are waiting for the kidney, and
For one
they call
kidney.
for one kidney. They call 6 people for for the matching. So the kidney recipient as a donor, blood has to match. And 5 o'clock, nurse came and told that Lord Vijay is getting the kidney. That was it.
I've been a rebel all my life. From taking up a profession that is not mainstream to setting challenging goals to myself. If I wanted to do something, I would just do it. I can't live in the fear of not being able to achieve what I want. The whole idea of I can't and I shouldn't is alien to me. I like dancing, I made it a career. I also have a big passion towards travel, adventure, and motoring. So I brought all my passions together to do something for the cause.
I'm going to drive from Bangalore to Leh. That was opening. And then
I was not at all happy about it because he was quite often getting lung infection and all that. So I was worried that high altitude will cause some uneasiness. We can't stop him because he will not listen. And he's going for a noble cause, which was really like everybody would appreciate that because he struggled a lot with that problem. Dialysis was something which is not at all like you can enjoy it. So when he was telling, then even when he was admitted in the hospital, when we saw kids, small kids coming for dialysis, oh, it was really very upsetting.
very painful.
So he said, okay, if this is the cause that many can survive, then why not do it?
Get more and more people aware of organ donation and getting them to pledge their organs. So we're starting off this entire campaign by taking a drive from Chennai to Bangalore across and around Ladakh. So covering about 13 cities, 17 towns, about 80 villages over a 40-day period. And we're trying to sensitize about 10 million people about the entire concern and issues of organ donation, how they can become an organ donor.
The objective of Mohan was, at that time and even now it is the same, is to be able to spread the message of organ donation, especially brain death, and to be able to help hospitals for doing donation, doing coordination.
In the process of dialysis and dealing with CKD, I happened to meet a lot of people who could not afford dialysis, who could not afford a transplant, so they actually gave up the hope of living a normal life because a transplant wasn't affordable. And then I also happened to meet families, a specific family who actually would ride or take a train every night to a hospital in Bangalore for dialysis, spend the whole day in the corridors, do a 4 hour dialysis, and again rest in the corridors and again take the train back. They've been doing this train journey for 8 years, day in and day out. So that kind of bothered me, and then after my transplant, when I was going through a 11-day isolation, is when I decided to do something about this whole situation.
We have more than 32 NGOs who are working with us. We alone clearly can't manage because roto doesn't mean only one medical college. The office has to be in some place, so medium is in the office. But office alone can't manage awareness. Yeah.
On behalf of Indian Medical Association, all the NGOs, sir, we welcome you. It's a grand work you are doing. Only 1 year when you started this mission of spreading organ donation awareness. It's a beautiful thing.
मेरी मदर का 2.25 साल पहले लगभग 2016 जनवरी में ब्रेन हेमरेज से देहांत हुआ और हमने अपनी मदर के पूरे ऑर्गन जो भी काम आ सकते थे हमने डोनेट किए। उसके बाद जो एप्रिशिएशन, जो सम्मान, जो गर्व हमें अपनी माँ के जाने के बाद एक दुख के साथ साथ में जो एक प्राउड और खुशी के साथ में हम अपनी माँ को याद करते हैं, जो फीलिंग उसका मैं वर्णन नहीं कर सकती।
तो बोलते हैं कि एक जन 8 लोगों को जान सकता है जब तो कितने का होगा वो
तो बात नहीं है अभी उधर पे मुझसे एक बार में ये बात
नहीं कि एग्रीमेंट नहीं अभी हम जिंदा हैं तो किसके काम आना चाहिए तो हमारी बदन को चलाएंगे तो गाड़ेंगे ना कुछ बीस सेकंड ना किसी काम आ जाएगा अच्छा है ना हमारा कुछ भला हो जाएगा कल भला हो जाएगा है ना दूसरों के लिए नहीं हमें अपने लोगों के लिए भी करना पड़ेगा। हमारे फैमिली में किसी को कुछ हो गया तो उनको भी मिलना पड़ेगा। तो अगर हम भला करेंगे तो और कोई भला करके हम लोगों को इसके मिल जाएगा ना। We just realized that we should fill gas in the city itself. We will fill the highway, and unfortunately, supposedly the petrol pump is another 30 kilometers away, and our tank was really dry, and I should have just followed my medicines and fill it up in Jaipur itself. But then I thought I would go to the highway, and now we are stranded. So one of our assistants is on a bike to fill gas and bring it back to the place. But nevertheless, it's like a great time because I'm actually getting to interact with the. Aapka naam kya hai? Mr. Moolchand, and he's very gladly going to sign a registration form, organ donor form. So this is what the drive is all about. Just take whatever comes in your stride and get to meet people, get to interact with people. And he just made some incredible chai for us. Chai was really, really good. Thank you very much.
Controlling a vehicle to an extent where you are comfortable in terms of syncing with it. I mean, a driver's personality lends and gets borrowed onto a vehicle's personality as well. The way you drive, I mean, if you can't drive recklessly, because if you're a reckless driver, the vehicle won't last you long. So you've got to respect your vehicle as well.
Obviously, parents really talking about anything to get ahead or organ donation. They generally invite me for before their parents because they know. Organ donation is all about letting your organs be useful to somebody else. So there are two ways of doing this. One is a live donor and one is a cadaver donor. Cadaver is when a person passes away, is when their body and the organs are harvested. So one message to you, very importantly, to the students and the teachers, listen to your body come what may. And the second important message is, your body is a temple, so treat it like one. So the important idea about organ donation is, when we are alive, we got to do good for people, and when we pass on as well, we can obviously benefit somebody by giving them a new life. And if a body can give 8 people new life, why not? So the whole idea of an organ registration is an awareness or an opportunity to create dialogue. It's not a mandate. It's just a willingness. Do you have any questions for me?
Which are the best hospitals in northern India for organ transplant?
Oh, there are big hospitals. You have your Apollos, you have Manipals, you have your Fortises. So that's not a problem. You have enough. In the big cities, there's always a big hospital to help you. And most of the government hospitals in big cities are all well equipped and also reasonably priced compared to the private hospitals.
You had got a kidney transplant,
Yeah,
because you had a kidney failure. So if someone has and he can't donate again his kidney, he cannot.
Hey, Dubai, I just started my entire journey from Manipal Hospital in Bangalore, which is flagged off. So we facilitated a parent whose kid was 2 years old when the kid passed away, unfortunately, and the kid gave the heart, the kidney, and the lung. So as young as 2 years is fine. I have a kidney of a person who's 65 years old.
You children are the one who can spread the message and you can make people aware about it. And there were so many myths and there were so many misconceptions that got clarified. Actually, we know how to start.
5, 6, 7, go. Kick, ball, change. Now, with your right leg. Kick, ball, change. Kick, ball, change. Kick, ball, change. Now, pop your shoulders with me. So, 1, pop. 1, pop. 1, pop. Shall we?
Difficult initially. The moment you have a group of people who are sympathetic to the cause or who understand the cause, they start inviting you and popularizing.
I always say, all of you are the evangelists and champions of organ donation to please spread the word. If we can give 8 new lives, then that's the biggest donation of all, right? Done. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me over.
I think very, very well done and very efficiently done, because it was pretty short notice. Chandigarh wasn't on our radar to stop by, but I think the way things turned out, we had to come to the Chandigarh and everything turned out excellent. क्यों कर रहे हैं कि देश भर में अंगदान के बारे में सबको अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड करने के लिए हम ये ट्राई कर रहे हैं। बोल दीजिए। थैंक यू।
Most of the people here also I spoke to said, yeah, it's good, no problem, but is it actually allowed by the religion? Can we actually give our organs? It's God's creation. We have to go back along with our organs. So yeah, it's not like that. When we are happy receiving it, why we are not happy when we have to give it, when we have to contribute?
Disease doesn't kill you. It's the poverty that the disease brings that kills you. Because when you're spending money on treatment and medicines, you're spending a lot of money, and that's not capable for everybody. At least I come from a decent background, so it was okay for me. But even though it was okay, I was under tremendous stress to meet finances and stuff. I feel privileged to be able to do this. I just celebrated my 41st birthday, and most people my age have families and kids, and they have to worry about tuition, education, and other responsibilities. They cannot shut shop and take off on a 40-day road trip. My friends would surely love to do something like this, but the circumstances that they are in prevent them from doing so. I feel like I represent them in many ways, and that I've got to use this opportunity and time to the fullest. जलना नहीं रहना चाहिए।
हाँ समझ रहे
वो अंग निकाल के बाद वो बदन को जा सकते हैं। ठीक है, मेरा नाम विजय है, मैं बैंगलोर से हूँ। चेन्नई से गाड़ी जब भरा के फ्री जा रहे हैं, फिर से हम बैंगलोर जाएंगे। ठीक है, can I have the cards please? think I've been just taking the vehicle up because it's driven a lot. I can hear some screaming noises in the engine. सबको हमदम लाइन बोल रहे हैं अच्छा अब मुझे क्या हमदम के लिए क्यों पता ही नहीं था तो अवेयरनेस नहीं यहाँ पे आपको नाम से भर के अपने घर में बोल दीजिए कि आपने इससे क्या हमदम के लिए हाँ
I think there's a certain stigma or a certain phobia and a certain uncertainty or lack of knowledge associated with organ donation. And I think each person has their reservations about organ donation, and I think that's largely due to lack of awareness. So that's why I think what Luke Vijay is doing is very useful, is spreading knowledge and awareness about this. I think that's where he can hopefully adjust, correct, and maybe give people a different insight into what organ donation is.
On my driver's license in the States, that you have an option to say that you can donate all of your organs if something happens to you in an accident. So that's one really great way to make it available to donate organs if something were to happen in a car accident. I think it's a great idea. Yeah, it makes sense. Especially like if I die and you could use my body in any way, it makes sense to use it. Why just let it go to waste in the ground? For sure. Yeah, it can save a lot of lives. There's so many people who are waiting on call for a kidney or for all kinds of different organs. It would save their lives.
First and foremost, we thank God for that person who gave the kidney at the time of his death. He has to, at least through his kidney, somebody will live. So that is because of that, my son is alive today. But as such, we have never taken it very seriously, that organ to talk to people henceforth, because this is our own child has done this. So now we will be talking to the people about organ donation.
The kind of terrain we've been through in the last 35 days has been great in terms of the variation in topography. Right from the flatlands in the south to the high altitudes of Ladakh, driving through passes, riverbeds, sub-zero climates and through places with literally no roads. The vehicle actually took a big beating, but it was a challenge and an adventure to overcome these hurdles. And doing it gave me a great sense of fulfillment. It was a huge challenge driving through the mountains of Dras. The vehicle was heating up and I had to get it to pull through those slopes. And when you look out the window, it's a steep drop of about 300 to 400 feet, which obviously is very scary, but at the same time a huge adrenaline rush. And then when you look up, the beauty of the mountains is so mesmerizing, it awakens your senses. The whole experience got me very emotional, And there were moments where I found myself with tears welling up in my eyes. I would call it something close to an out-of-body experience. We met Dr. Bhandari, who's the director of NOTO, the National Organ Tissue Transplant Organization. Dr. Bhandari, at our request, got a few religious leaders to share their views on organ donation. I'm hoping that this helps change the religious stigma associated with organ donation in our country.
1.5 lakh people die every year, out of which we know that 70% are potential donors. If even we are able to utilize 10% of it, then we will be able to convert around 30,000 kidney to the masses. So that we are not able to do it.
Jesus says, there is no greater love than sacrificing one's life for others. Literally, he has done this one. And when it comes to the Christianity, we strongly believe there is the resurrection of life. A normal body definitely let it die or go anywhere. That's what the people believe. And there is the spiritual body which definitely goes to heaven. And when the spiritual body goes there, and if that normal body can give a life to others, why can't we make use of this perishable body to give life to others?
मैं चूंकि हिंदू धर्म का प्रतिनिधि के रूप में आपके सामने बात कर रहा हूँ, हिंदू समाज के लिए, हिंदू समाज में इस बात के लिए बड़ा स्पष्ट आदेश है। कुछ देर पहले डॉक्टर भंडारी ने संकेत किया कि मिसकंसेप्शंस हैं। मैं मानता हूँ बहुत मिसकंसेप्शन इसलिए हैं कि बहुत से लोग इस तरह की बात करते हैं हिंदुओं में ही कि तुमने अगर कोई अपना शरीर का अंग दान दिया तो अगले जन्म में, क्योंकि हम पुनर्जन्म को मानते हैं, तो दूसरे जन्म में तुमको ये शरीर बिना उस अंग के मिलेगा। मित्रों, ये इससे बड़ा और कोई समाज से धोखा नहीं हो सकता।
हमारे यहाँ कुरान में मन अहयाहा फकान्नमा अहया अन्नास जमीआ, जिसने एक की ज़िंदगी बचाई उसने समझिए पूरे इंसानियत की ज़िंदगी बचाई, उसको ज़िंदा किया। इसी तरह हदीस में हमारे मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने कहा कि खैरुन्नास मन नफ़ान्नास, लोगों में सबसे बेहतर वो है जो लोगों को फ़ायदा पहुंचाए, लोगों के लिए भलाई का काम करे। हमारे यहाँ भी अब तकरीबन अरब उलमा ने भी और यहाँ हिंदुस्तान के उलमा ने भी ये फतवा दे दिया है कि आर्गन ट्रांसप्लांट किया जा सकता है, डोनेट किया जा सकता है। बिजनेस नहीं होना चाहिए उसका, उसकी तिजारत नहीं होनी चाहिए। ये बिल्कुल हराम है हमारे यहाँ, गुनाह का काम है, नहीं कर सकते। दे तो सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर डॉक्टर्स या डॉक्टर्स की टीम उसको जो है बिजनेस के लिए जो है इस्तेमाल कर रही है तो बिल्कुल हराम है, नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। इसकी इजाज़त नहीं है किसी भी धर्म में। हम समझते हैं हिंदू धर्म में भी नहीं होगा, जैसा कि रवि जी ने भी इशारा किया।
अगर जीवन काल के अंदर मरने से पहले अगर मैं किसी को जीवन दान दे सकूं और मेरे मरने के बाद में अगर उन अंगों का कहीं पर इस्तेमाल हो सकता है तो गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब की वाणी जो है, सिख धर्म की परिभाषा जो है, वो कहीं पर भी इसके लिए रुकावट नहीं पैदा करती।
These are night in the shining auto, the auto that's there, which stored us all the way here. Thank you very much, Prem. Thank you, yeah. मुझे अंगदान कुछ किडनी मिला है। लास्ट ईयर ऑपरेशन हुआ था, मेरे किडनी का फेल हो गया था, इसलिए इसके मरने के बाद जो हम उसको फिर से किसी और के काम आ सकते हैं।
किडनी की जरूरत है, किसी को है उसकी
सबके लिए किडनी की जरूरत तो सबको होती है।
नहीं ऐसी मुसीबत अपने ऊपर आई है, आजू बाजू में।
सही कहा नहीं, किसी को मालूम नहीं होता ना कि
किसको मालूम नहीं कि यहाँ अपने को मिल सकती है भाई। किसी के पास पैसा रहता है, किसी के पास नहीं रहता है।
We always say prevention better than cure. And these two medicines are the most important medicines for me. If I don't take these two medicines, this is actually just one. The grammage is different. This is 1 mg, there's 0.5 mg, and these three are the ones that are keeping me alive. If I miss it even one day, then Raju and Vivin have rushed me to the hospital.
ఆర్గన్ డొనేషన్ గురించి ఇప్పటికైతే అభిప్రాయం లేదు, ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెప్తున్నా. అర్థమవుతుంది. కానీ ఆర్గన్ డొనేషన్ అనేది వెరీ మస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనేది నాకు తెలుసు. ఇప్పుడు మిమ్మల్ని కలవడం కూడా హ్యాపీ, ఎందుకంటే ఒక గ్రేట్ కదా, గ్రేట్ మెసేజ్ని తీసుకొని బయలుదేరుతున్నారు కాబట్టి మీకు ఒక హెల్ప్ చేసే అవకాశం వచ్చిందని హ్యాపీగా ఫీల్ అవుతుంది. ఓకేనా?
హైదరాబాద్ जाना पड़ता है।
The drive and through my interactions with bodies like Ford Foundation, Tank Foundation, Road to national bodies, state bodies, regional bodies, people have been working in this space, both bureaucrats, directors, medical officers, people who run NGOs, volunteers. It has been a revelation of sorts because people generally work in this space without any recognition, without any branding, without any kind of form of shout outs in terms of social media or mass media, and they are the ones that actually doing a lot of commendable work. Nothing is constant but change. One example is while driving through those guards and maneuvering through this rugged terrain, it did take a big toll on my body. And when you reach well laid out roads, you think in your head, thank God, good roads at last. But even before you finish the sentence in your head, you're again greeted with treacherous mountain terrain with hairpin bends and curves. I had a great fear of driving at high altitude. And after being on dialysis for 2.5 years, my lung function had come down drastically, and which was causing a lot of breathing difficulties. And my hypertension was causing a lot of strain on my heart. So many of my heart valves are not functioning very well, for which I'm on medication. So these are the concerns I had through the entire drive. Almost everybody who we met wanted to be an organ donor, but the challenge they faced was not knowing how to become one. And that is the biggest issue any NGO in the space and the government has got to address. Our aim is to get our country's people aware of organ donation and to get them to pledge their organs. And we will not rest until we've achieved that big dream. From Pangongso to Leh, we're driving, and then again, I think that stretch is just loose gravel. There's a road, but no road. So we're driving, and there's like open stretch, so we're driving a little at a reasonable pace. We nearly covered most of the stretch. We're just getting out onto tarmac, and suddenly, I don't know what happened, and the road kind of swerved slightly, turned to the right, and I also turned the wheel, and suddenly the car is like airborne. Fine, didn't flip inside, just because I think the gravel was so loose, the car just went, I think barely a feet off the ground or whatever, and I couldn't feel any traction on the steering wheel. And suddenly when it landed, the car went somewhere, and I completely lost control of the car. But then the car went into a ledge, climbed up, and then it went to the side like this, and then it came down. More than me, Janada. Very, very shocked. But when the car landed on all its four wheels, it was fine.
पवने में पवन समाया, ज्योति में ज्योत रल जाया, ज्योति में ज्योत रल जाया, ज्योति में ज्योत रल जाया, पवने में पवन समाया, ज्योति में ज्योत रल जाया, माटी माटी होई एक, रोवन हारे की कौन टेक, रोवन हारे की कौन टेक, पवने में पवन समाया, ज्योति में ज्योत रल जाया, पवने में पवन समाया, ज्योति में ज्योत रल जाया, कौन मुआ रे कौन मुआ, ब्रह्म ज्ञानी मिल करो विचारा, यह तो